Hi guys, welcome back to another video on this channel. If you guys haven't been keeping up with me, I think at this point in time I have some other videos up on different channels. Hey, feel free to check those out in the link in the description box. I am in my old room. That is where I will be residing for some time. Also, if you see this little piece of fabric right here, it's because I'm sitting on a towel. It's so freaking hot in my house and we don't have air conditioning here. Today is me just talking about college and giving you all the advice you could possibly need to survive it and thrive in these next 4 years. Let's get started. What you actually need for college. What would you bring in your backpack? First, headphones. Not exactly necessary, but like life-changing. First of all, you will be able to block out the noise when you're studying. You will be able to pretend like you're the main character going to class. It will be a light going to school. Like you will feel just a little bit better listening to music. It's a comfort listening to music and having headphones. Next thing, now you could either get a laptop or an iPad. If I had to choose as a college student between an iPad and a computer, I would personally choose a computer. Sorry. Your iPad can basically be a notebook. It can be a computer as well if you buy a Magic Keyboard or a keyboard of any sort. It doesn't have to be that specific one. It can be basically everything that you could possibly need. I have on this iPad, I wrote a lot of my notes on here. I use the Kilo Notes app and the Good Notes app, and in those I would create notebooks and then write my notes in there, and then I would also put all my textbooks in there. Obviously, like, it's all in one. You can put everything in there. Mascara check, are we good on that? Okay, good. The third thing is you definitely will need a source of organization. I have mine, which is actually my life diary. I will have this linked down below if you want to get this for the upcoming school year. I use this to organize like my entire life. Also use this to fuel my creativity. Yeah, cute, you know? It's literally your all-in-one journal and a diary. It's basically both together. I just love doing little spreads and doing cute things. Of course, if you are not a physical organization girly, you can also use Notion, you can use Google Calendar, but either way, you better use one of them. There is one more item that I specifically use a lot in college that will both help you save money and your grades. And if you've ever watched any of my past school videos, you would know that is a printer. Speaking of this bad boy look right here, it looks real sexy. It's crazy. It literally costs money to print at your school. You're telling me the thousands of dollars I already spent on my tuition doesn't cover
printing paper.
Anyways, and so having a printer at home is going to be a lifesaver, considering your professors will want you to print things out. And if you're looking for one, well, I'll just make things easier. First, I would like to thank Best Buy for sponsoring today's video. We are specifically going to be talking about the HP Envy 606 5E printer. This printer can obviously print, plus do borderless and two-sided printing. You can even receive 6 months of HP Instant Ink with HP Plus activation. On top of it, you're receiving $60 with the current price being at $69.99. Along with that, you also get a free semester of ink. Ink is not cheap, by the way. This printer is super easy to use. You can connect and print with the HP Smart app, and you can stay connected with self-healing Wi-Fi. If you're like me, you have no idea what that is. That means that this feature will automatically detect and resolve any connectivity issues to help reduce interruptions. The wireless operation is only compatible with 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz operations only. So to be honest, in my opinion, the best thing about it is how sleek and compact it looks. This is perfect for anyone who is in a dorm situation or even like a small room situation. You can find the link to this printer in my description box down below. I use regular paper for this, guys, and it actually looks so good. It probably would come out better with actual photo print paper. However, this gives me an idea to do like a little scrapbooking with this. Do yourself a favor, get yourself a printer this semester and print that assignment out the night before it's due. Put it in your backpack so you don't forget about it. I never learned my lesson from forgetting my homework in the printer. But hopefully you guys won't make that mistake. Also guys, HP is America's most trusted printer brand. Thank you again to Best Buy for sponsoring today's video. Back to the college advice. The golden question, which is how do I pick my college major? This is the question that many of us, even before and after college, have unanswered. And That includes myself. This answer is gonna be kind of all over the place, but it will all tie in together. If I could go back in time to my senior/freshman year of college, I would have done it all differently. My senior year and my freshman year of college, I should have dabbled into all the different types of majors that I was interested in. Going out into the real world and actually seeing what these would be like and be in the environment of them, or ask people who worked in those spaces questions. I always kind of knew I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, yet I never went to go and volunteer at elementary schools, which I should have done and could have easily done during high school. And I feel like if I had put myself in that position, I would have had a better idea of what it would have been like to be in that specific major or that job, and maybe it would have crossed off the child and adolescence major off my list, you know, doing it ahead of time and being like, oh, I actually don't think this is for me. Now, if you're interested in business, maybe, you know, ask a business owner some questions, shadow in on them, maybe sit in on a business-like environment and literally take it all in, take notes, and see what that setting and just like what that job is all about, because ultimately our major that we choose is kind of setting us up for our future job. So put yourself in the scenario of what that job is like, and maybe then you just get a better feeling for what that major might be like, because it is so hard to know what major is right for you when you are not even testing it out before you choose it. I did switch my majors a few times, and because of that, it does, you know, does cost the money, and that is why a lot of people want to know what major is right for them ahead of time. So in your freshman year of college, I also advise not to choose a major or even take any major courses in that first year if you can. I think sometimes that can be a waste of money, just because you might figure out later on that this, you know, GE course that you took is something that really interested you, and maybe you would much rather major in that. Now, you can also minor in things, which basically means like, actually, what does minor even mean? I don't know. A minor is a secondary area of specialization beyond a college major. There you go. So sometimes people will like major in business and then get a minor in film. It just means that like you take a few more classes for that specific major and it becomes your minor. I hope that explained it well. Another thing I think is really important when picking your major is asking yourself some honest questions that pertain to your life, and like, what are your life goals? What do you see for yourself? What do you want for yourself? But if your case is like, you know, you just want to be rich, and that means you're just gonna go for the major that makes you the most money, that is also really fine too. I have heard a lot of stories where people will go that route where they're just trying to make money and be rich and go into like, you know, or they'll go into a major that is really popular and just like gives them the status, and eventually people switch out of that major because they realize like this isn't something that they're willing to put effort into and do for the next 4 years, let alone for the rest of their life. It really is about like finding what is right for you, and that's just like sitting down and answering some honest questions. In fact, I will literally leave a list of questions you could answer for yourself in a diary, preferably, so you know you're really just like going in. These are questions I feel like could lead you to where you will know what major is right for you. And all I have to say is, what's stopping you from trying everything, in the sense that like if you want to get a business degree but you also want to do acting and you also want to have a small business, you could do all of those things. We are not defined by just the major we graduate with, and that I hope gives you some peace that this major that you graduate with is not your end all be all. It's not the thing that defines you. A lot of people came to me asking about what it's like changing your major and whether that is worth it. Yeah, I'm kind of just going to dive into what it's like changing your major in college, because I changed my major 3 different times. I started off with psychology, then went to business, then went to child and adolescent studies. And honestly, if I could have done all 3, I wish I could have, because I feel like I genuinely had an interest in all 3 of those things, and me being the most indecisive person, I just couldn't choose. Anyways, I actually took a semester break, which you guys have also asked me about, to figure out what it was that I saw myself doing, because I was reaching a point where I genuinely was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Let me give myself some time to possibly, you know, try out YouTube. And I actually kind of got a few answers in that time of taking a semester off. And to quickly answer that question about people asking like, is taking a semester off worth it? It definitely is if you have a plan with it. If you are planning to work for that period of time, or you're just trying to figure out again like what major is right for you. Ultimately, if you know that something is not right for you, if something is like leaves you with a feeling of dread every day, having to go to it, having to learn about it. If you are stressing out like to the point where you're losing your hair, you're having mental breakdowns, it is not for you. There's no point in graduating with something that you wouldn't want to do, because then you'll just be again miserable, and then eventually you probably will want to change your major or, you know, go back to school to get a certain degree. So might as well make the change now. I do think it's ultimately worth it, and you shouldn't be afraid, because this is your future. A lot of you guys were just saying you're really scared to move away from home. You're big family people, and I can totally understand. If you just know that you're a big family person, and it could be really hard for you to be so far from your family and not see them that often, you know, do what you gotta do, and no one should judge you for that, because, you know, if you prioritize keeping your family around, props to you, you know. I've heard like so many stories, even online, just like from my friends, about how hard it was for them leaving home, and like they were kind of homesick, but with time it got easier. And sometimes it was like when they found their right friends, it also became easier. And sometimes it's just like waiting for the right people to surround yourself with that feel like family, that help you diminish those feelings of homesickness and like sadness, because you will soon feel like you're in a family environment again and just feel better about things. I think I'm sweating over here. Okay, I got so many questions about making friends. A lot of you guys just want to know how to make friends. One of the main ways I was able to make friends and meet some of my best friends was, one, through living in a complex that had a bunch of other college students going to that school. And then I made friends through a sorority that I joined for about a semester. I wasn't in it for that long. I also think you can join formal fraternities, which is basically fraternities for your specific major. So that's also a really good way to make friends. If I could, I would have done maybe that route instead, the formal fraternity, because there's just a lot more benefits with it, because it also can really set you up well in the future for your future job, because networking, of course. The biggest thing I recommend is to reach out to your classmates and people in your major. What I personally would always do in my classes is I would reach out to a friend on the Discord chats and just ask them if they wanted to study. I would always, you know, message them, hey, do you want to do this project with me? And that is how I would always have at least one good friend in each of my classes. I think it's really important not to cheap out on friends in college. These are the people that are going to be like your community, your family, and the people that you just will kind of like trust your life with. A test to know if a person's a real friend, if you guys ever go out to a party together, is if they are there with you at the end of the night and you just know that they were looking out for you as were you for them and just had a good time. Like, that is a real friend. If that person who you did go out with, if they're ditching you by the end of the night, or just ignoring you, or not even talking to you, that is not a real friend. Someone said how to cut off toxic people without stirring up a whole lot of drama, like cutting off fake friends without them realizing it. I think it's both okay to speak about it, but also not speak about it, because friendship breakups just come in life. They naturally happen, and sometimes you don't need to bring up why you are ending that friendship, but just let it fizzle out on its own, because sometimes when you do bring it up, that's when the drama starts, and then it's like, oh, well, you did this, you did that. Sometimes that's when it ends off on a really bad note. Honestly, sometimes if you gotta distance yourself from toxic people without even saying anything, because if they are toxic, chances are they might want to start an argument with you about why they're distancing themselves. Sometimes it's just best left unsaid, and like, that's okay. Someone asked how to pick your classes quick and good. Oh my god, honestly, picking classes was probably like the most fun part about college. So when you're picking your classes, have like 3 tabs open. One of them being rate my professor, another one being like a blank page where you can plan out what your possible schedule would look like. You're ultimately choosing the classes that will fit right with your schedule. Heavy on the rate my professor. Rate my professor will save your college experience and your grade. Definitely try to get all of the professors that have good ratings, you know, look at what people have to say about them, and then see if that professor and the time slot and the days work with your schedule. And like, literally, if you just have those 3 tabs open and you're doing it in your time frame that you are selected to pick your classes, you're good. Is college worth it? I'm gonna be the person to say college is worth it if you have a reason to go to college. I think college does give you a thing to fall back on. You have no idea what you want to do with your life and you do have to just get a job with your college degree. There's that option. Like you can go out and do that. But then again, there's also like so much difficulty in finding jobs nowadays. Like people think that just because you have your college major degree means, oh, well, I can get any job, which I don't know if is necessarily true. Now, I'm also someone who is not graduated yet, hasn't had a job with my specific degree. Maybe don't take this advice from me. If people give me a valid answer for not going to college, I'm not gonna be like, bro, like you're dumb. Cause that's just fuck. What? Who am I to tell you how to like go about living your life? You know, there are people who've been successful not going to college, and so I know that is like, you know, rare cases, but is it possible? Kind of. Again, college is expensive. So what if you're going to college and you actually don't really know what like you want to do, but you're just going to go to college, and then you have to like pay for college, so you're having a job to pay for the thing that you actually don't want to do. I just feel like college is for people who know what they might want to do or have a plan going into it, or just want to learn about education. It is good to fall back on and have it. I think that it's very valuable. Education is valuable. There are also other ways to learn about things. I just think that college, there are so many things to it and it's expensive. Let me hear that again. Like the fact that you have to pay for your parking, you have to pay to use the printer there, you have to pay for your books, like everything you have to pay for, and it's just so, oh, and you have to pay to graduate. College will always be there. Will your dreams? Sometimes, but also what if you start now and it makes more sense to pursue your dreams at this point versus later on in life, versus college will always be there too. People go to college at the age of 30 or 40 and that's, you know, totally fine too. So hopefully that answered your question. Or whoever asked that, you set me up, like you really did. No, that's booked. Now, someone asked how to stay motivated while in a slump. And I feel like this can go for any, you know, situation in life, but college especially really takes a toll on yourself mentally and physically. The amount of times I got sick in college is crazy. Sometimes, like when you're in a slump, you don't have to pull yourself out of it from the moment you start feeling it. Let yourself, like give yourself the time to be in it for like 2 to 3 days. If you have to watch your comfort shows for an entire day or sleep for a bit, like I think that's fine, so long as after those 2, 3, like maybe 2 days, cut it at that, you start picking up those healthier habits that help you get out of that slump, like going on a walk, going out in the sun for a bit, journaling, working out. Like I know those are the basic ones, but they actually really help because that is what is meant to give you those hits of dopamine. Your phone is not the answer in those moments when you're in a slump. Sometimes it's okay to just give yourself one break, you know? And then you'll go back to disciplining yourself. I have been loving green tea, so I just mix this with some Arizona green tea, no, sweet tea, and I make myself a little matcha tea. Ice first, water. We're gonna take some nami matcha, and guys, this is probably gonna be the funniest part of it all. I don't have a whisker or a frother, so I'm literally gonna use what I thought was a whisker. I thought this was a whisker. You know, we're gonna use this to mix our matcha. And some Arizona sweet tea. Just like a little bit. I just added a little bit so we can still preserve the green tea flavor, or the matcha flavor, actually. Cheers! Oh, that tastes so good. It's so refreshing, whilst also going to be caffeinating a little bit, you know, and that is exactly what I need right now. I just gave up on my appearance, okay? I just want to be comfortable. Here we go back in with the mic, because I love the mic. So addicting using this. All right, we're back in. I had a question on tips for roommates. For anyone who hasn't picked a roommate yet or is going to be living with roommates in the future, pick people that you actually think you would vibe with and like talk to them and get to know them beforehand. I'm telling you, do not just pick a random roommate. Like if you have shitty roommates, mean roommates, it's not gonna be fun and you are literally gonna like hate where you're living and it's just not the experience you want. If you have nothing in common with your roommate, sometimes it's just, you actually don't know that. You don't know unless you have a conversation with them and get to talk to them better. So like first really see if that's the case, because there's bound to be one thing you have in common with this person, at least one thing that you can bond over. Just, you know, really bond over that specific thing, then maybe that leads to other things that you guys can bond over. And as long as you like have a respectful relationship or like a non-hostile one with each other, it's really okay if you don't have anything in common, as long as you guys can be like nice to each other. I think that's better to try to get along and just fake it till you make it, rather than literally just be mean. Someone said, first year was awful and people keep telling me it gets worse. How do I get through it? College is only hard if you're not willing to put in the work. The only way you get through it is by embracing it and working through it. You will get through it by being smart and doing what is best for you, pushing yourself to do better and work hard, and that's how you will get through. College is meant to tear you up a bit, like it's going to, but you will come out a stronger, a smarter person, and you will thank yourself for getting through it. This question is for everyone who hasn't gone to college yet, and they asked, what's something you had wished you knew before applying to colleges? What I wish I knew before applying to colleges was that the college you go to does not always define how your college experience will go. And what I mean by that, it really is about how you make up the experience, not about the college you're going to. You're ultimately the person that shapes the way those next 4 years go. I hated college applications, let me just say that. That's the equivalent of taxes as you get older. Okay, someone asked, how do you socialize if you are introverted? There are so many introverts out there that you will find another introvert that can be an introvert with you. Like if you don't like to party and go out and, you know, be around like big groups or even just like going out all the time, there's gonna be the person that is like literally, that's my vibe. That's how I am too. Sometimes it's just about finding like the right people for you. I do think that it helps to kind of push ourselves past our comfort zone, and sometimes it can be nice to be an extrovert here and there just to, you know, make friends, learn a lot about yourself, and kind of like open yourself up to new experiences. As long as you have good people around you, I think you can enjoy those experiences and they won't go over the top, hopefully. So someone said, advice for someone starting college as a freshman at 21. You can start college at any age. I had a lot of age gaps in my classrooms where you didn't even know that someone was that much older than you. No one is gonna judge you for being 21. And no one will even ask your age, more than likely. I've only ever like asked people their age later on until like we've actually like made conversations and we're friends. And if your friend is judging you for your age, and that's fake, but like most of the times, no friend is gonna judge you for being like older. You're good. You're good, don't even worry. I got a lot of questions about people worrying about the future. So many people have been asking about like not knowing what we want to do in the future, and a lot of that concern, which I totally get. And with that, I have plenty to say. Let me just really quick. This is how I like to sit sometimes. It's so comforting. Being the person right now who actually has no idea what they want to do, in fact, is maybe starting from scratch. I don't know what my future looks like. And sometimes that is also really exciting because now you have a pool of things that you can do. Things interject into your life where it changes the entire course, or you change your mind and then maybe you don't want to do this, and then that is no longer what your future is going to look like. Why not take it day by day instead of future? Every day is going to look different. You know, we can plan our days out, we can have our to-do list, but little things can change on a day-to-day basis, and our minds can change, our relationships can change, our environment can change. Why plan for it when we actually can't control it? So what's the point of planning for the future when I'm constantly changing my mind about things? As someone who doesn't know what I want to do, I'm gonna take it day by day and start doing the things I want to do and do those day by day and see where that gets me. The decision you decide to make today doesn't define your future. Like you know, it just defines the very moment that's happening right now. Your future is probably bright either way. You know, as long as you have a good attitude about life and the things and like work hard, your future will be certainly great. This is just the mindset that I like to look and take it if you will. I just graduated this year from high school and I'm honestly not sure what's next for me. Do I want to take a gap year? Do I want to go to community college? I know most people in the comments probably know where they're going and what their major is, but I would appreciate some advice for all of us who are a little bit lost right now and aren't sure how to even approach all the different options we have for further education. So I really want to hound in on the community college question, how this person said, do I want to go to community college? I think community college is so underrated and sometimes like looked down on. I don't really think anyone looks down on community college nowadays because I think it's more normalized, but I just feel like community college, especially for your first 2 years, is a really great way to save money and just figure out what you want to do without spending so much money. I 100% support people who would go to community college, because it's such a smart way to go about it. This is actually the last question that I want to answer, and it's about how to make good connections with your professors. Now, professors will notice if you are engaging in the classroom. They will notice your participation, and when it comes to asking for a recommendation for a job or any sort, they will be happy to do that. And you want to make yourself memorable because it will help you in the future. And literally, like, even sometimes just going to their office hours, maybe to ask some questions or ask things about, you know, job opportunities, any sort of guidance, like literally that will help you create a connection with them, like a relationship, you know, professional relationship with them. On that note, I'm actually finally done. I hope you guys enjoyed this entire video. Hopefully that was like all valuable information. With that being said, good luck to everyone starting college. You guys got this. I believe in you guys. Just have fun and enjoy the experience, embrace it, and you'll do great. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. Have an amazing day. I love you guys.